Hi guys and welcome to another video. Now before we get into this match review, I just need to place on record that today was undoubtedly one of the best days of my life. And I'm not even kidding, and I don't even mean just because of the football match, you know, I'm not that sad. But honestly, I just mean in general, it was a great day, you know, traffic up from Blackpool to Sunderland, that were perfect. Me and Shanice, the missus, we got there. It was her first game at the Stadium Light. The sun were beaming down on us at 10:30 in the morning. We're in the fan zone, having beers. I've managed to meet a lot of you guys, which was absolutely awesome. I would shout out you all, but there was quite a lot, to be fair, and I don't want to just list off a load of people. But it was absolutely amazing to meet so many of you guys, and it was pretty surreal, you know, just to be stopped and recognised, which, you know, I'm not some kind of celebrity, but just to be pulled over and, you know, just shake hands with everyone and have a chat with everyone. It was just amazing. It was just awesome. And I met a load of the guys from the I Love Supreme magazine who I've been writing for, and I'm getting, you know, I'm pretty close with now. You know, we speak on WhatsApp and stuff like that, but you never really see each other because everyone is doing their own thing. So it was nice to see them guys as well. And you know, I ran into Stuart Donald. Had a quick pitch with him and a quick chat. I think because I was a little bit nervous to meet him when I first saw him. I wanted to kind of jokingly say to him, you know, well, I've come all the way from Blackpool, mate, so we best win. But because I was nervous, and obviously I was saying it in a joking way, I didn't smile. So, so I basically approached him, shook his hand, had a picture, and was just like, yeah, I've come from Blackpool, mate. It's a long way, innit? So if we don't win, you're in the shit. Do you know what I mean? I may as well have said that anyway. But because I was so nervous, I just didn't smile or make it even look like I was joking whatsoever. But yeah, it was nice to see Stuart as well. He seems like a lovely man. I only spoke to him for a minute or so. But yeah, so it was just an absolutely fantastic day. So anyway, let's go on to the match review. That's why we're here. So we shall begin with the first half. And in all honesty, I think Jack Ross got the initial lineup wrong, personally. I think he got it completely wrong. It was almost like a flat 4-3-3 originally, but in the midfield, I think he got that massively wrong with O'Nien, Honeyman and Mumba. I was buzzing that Mumba was given the chance. I believe that he deserved to have the chance. I didn't actually think that Ross would have the balls to put Mumba in the first game of the season, but, you know, Mumba didn't have a bad game whatsoever. He didn't he didn't set the world alight, but he didn't make too many mistakes. I think he one or two misplaced passes here and there, but he did the easy stuff, you know, correctly, and he moved the ball on. He got stuck in when he needed to, and he did pretty well, Mumba. But the three that he had in midfield with Honeyman, O'Nien and Mumba, they're all relatively defensive, you know, and so there was just a massive gap in that first half between the midfield and the strikers, and the strikers were static because we didn't have that sort of centre attacking midfielder where Maguire would normally sit in the first half, you know, to turn and then give it out and spray it to our attackers. There was just a massive gap, and the strikers, Madrid in particular, he was pissing me off a little bit in the first half. He was pretty static when you watched him, because I'm keeping my eye on him, because, you know, I do want Madrid to progress, but there were a few times where he did really annoy me in that game. But anyway, so the first half, and we do give away a penalty. Maguire hacks down the Charlton attacker, and it's Lyle Taylor. Of course, it's Lyle Taylor, who's been linked with us, or who was linked with us throughout the summer. We thought he was going to be joining us, but he ended up joining Charlton, and he puts away the penalty. It was a ridiculous challenge from Maguire in the first place. It wasn't fantastic. It was a stonewall penalty. Decent penalty as well. But another worry was the defence. The two centre-backs, Loovens and Ozturk, in particular Ozturk, I think he was shocking, personally. Loovens weren't too far behind him either, myself, personally. I mean, he did those sort of simple things okay, but he's just too slow to get to things. You know, at times it just looked like another O'Shea at times. But I think O'Shea might even be a bit quicker than him. But but you know, he weren't horrendous, Loovens. But again, with his lack of pace, and then Ozturk, who at times looked like he'd never played football in his bloody life, it was just an accident waiting to happen. Some of the times where they'd misjudge headers, so then they'll leave the header and let the ball bounce, and they put us in danger and stuff like that. And some of the misplaced passes around the back, or especially in the first half, I thought this is going to be an absolute shit show here. And they had a couple of chances, Charlton again in the first half, a couple of free kicks as well, one of them being a very good save from McLaughlin. We did manage to make a chance or two of our own, but they were all sort of half chances in the first half. Madja did have a decent one, but he didn't manage to get it around the keeper. So that was half time, and it was 1-0, and I thought, this isn't looking great, that something has to change because we didn't look anything like the team that we'd seen against like say Middlesbrough and St Mirren and stuff. Of course it was on the pre-season, but it looked like a completely different team. The formation looked like it had changed. It was kind of rotating between a 4-3-3 and a 4-3-1-2, which wasn't working because then there was no width in the side either. The players didn't seem completely convinced what kind of formation they were supposed to be playing, and I couldn't work it out myself. But then the second half started. O'Nien come off, understandably so. He was probably, to be fair to him, you could tell that he was just very, very eager to impress in front of this big crowd and get the crowd behind him, which of course we were. But I think he was a bit too eager, and because it just wasn't coming off for him. He was running around like headless chicken, but accomplishing nothing really in that first half. I can't. To be fair, I can actually remember at one point. I think it was about 25 minutes into the first half, and I thought, oh god, yeah, O'Nien's playing. I genuinely forgot he was even playing because he didn't really have that much to do in the game or didn't really get involved. He was, like I say, he was legging it around, but nothing was coming off for him whatsoever. Bless him. I'm sure with time it'll be fantastic, but today just unfortunately wasn't his day. So we come off for the second half and brought Sinclair on finally. So then we go back to what has been successful in pre-season, where we have Sinclair, Madger, and Gooch as the front three, and Maguire just behind them. That works, and that's what was going well in pre-season. Straight away, straight off the bat, we look like a completely changed side. We're looking really, really good. We're pressing. Matthews, I was very impressed with on the right-hand side. I think he was pretty decent as well. He did all the simple stuff. He did that correctly, like some defenders didn't. And he broke forward a few times as well. I did forget to mention, that Donald Love, he got injured as well and was replaced by Brian Oviedo, who got a pretty big applause when he come on. And, I do like Oviedo, I do. He's always giving his all. It just, at times it's just not worked out for him, and he does want to leave. But to be fair, he did work very hard today, and I think he did have a pretty decent game. We know what we get from Oviedo. He attacks. He's a left wing back, and he attacks for us, and he did pose a bit of a threat at times. So fair play to him. But yeah, we did manage to get the equaliser eventually. But from Madger, who managed to drag one into that bottom right-hand corner. And it was a decent finish. The keeper arguably could have done a little bit better, but we did get back into it. So it's 1-1 at this point, and we're still pushing, and we're still pushing, and we're still pushing. That second half, Charlton, they didn't have anything. They didn't have any answers to us whatsoever. We weren't making many clear-cut chances, but we were just getting into very good positions around the final third. But again, the movement weren't great, which is where I would have liked, McGee up to be on the pitch to pick out that decisive pass, and then Wyke maybe to get onto it, because Madger, like I briefly mentioned earlier, he started to really frustrate me. There's a few times where we did break into that final third, and Madger would sort of point to where he would want the ball to be put. So then the player, or whoever's got the ball, say Maguire, he'd slide the ball through to where Madger pointed he wanted it, but the Madger would give up and he'd stop. And I'm thinking, just commit, even if it doesn't come off, just commit to the run that you're pointing to your man to make that pass to. You just commit, because you've stood still and you've broke down the entire attack now. It might go straight to their defender, but then you could put him under pressure and they might clear it away. But there were 3 or 4 times where he'd done that and he pointed where he wanted it, and then just thought, nah, can't be arsed with that, nah. And I think he got bullied a little bit up top at times, Madger. It's better when he sort of drops off, so then he doesn't need to be challenged straight away by the striker, if he comes deep for it, collects it, and then runs at players. Because he's very good at, running at players, running at the defenders with the ball directly. He's very good at that, Madger. But every sort of aerial threat, he ducks out of it, and he's a bit of a wuss, and he doesn't really challenge for anything, Madger, which is really frustrating. I think that's where you need someone like Wyke up top, who's a big brute, and he'll ruffle some feathers up top, where Madger didn't really have that in his game at all today. But in the dying moments of the game, we have a corner, and I think we actually had a corner or two even before that, a few successive corners. And Maguire, there was a few corners that he had in the game, and they didn't beat the first man. And I thought, here we go again. And he's drilled it to the edge of the box for Gooch, who completely misses the ball, miscontrols it, and it slides past him, and it ends up rolling to, I think it was Oviedo, who dinks it back across goal, and Gooch, who originally missed the ball, throws himself in there, leaps like a salmon, and nods it into the net, and we are going absolutely ballistic. I'm squeezing Shanice to the point where she's going blue in the face. I'm throwing her around like a rag doll, and it's 2-1. The final whistle goes, and my prediction from the match preview is correct. It's sealed. I'm a genius. But all in all, guys, I think the second half was a very decent performance considering how our injury list is looking at the minute as well, because I think Sinclair did end up going off as well, even though we come on at half time. He ended up going off with an injury. I haven't seen any injury news yet. I've literally just come home. And he was replaced by Molyneux for the final few moments. But yeah, like I say, considering the injuries we do have in the second half in particular, when Ross did go back to the sort of system that we've seen in pre-season, it looked really good, and we played very well against Charlton, who are one of the better sides in this league. Granted, Charlton do have a horrific injury list themselves, and maybe they could argue that if they had their players who are who are injured at the minute, if they had them back in, then maybe it would have been a different story. But we could say the same. We could have beat them by more if we had some of our players back. But that's by the by. We did manage to win 2-1. I think that'll be a massive, massive lift to the lads, and I think that stadium is going to be rocking for weeks now, especially or at least for the next game. Not just for the first game of the season. I think that's going to be getting. I think we got over 30k today. We're 31, 32k. Capacity, which is just absolutely mad. That is absolutely mad. Fantastic, fantastic support from everyone. So congrats to you all. So I think that's everything, guys. I think I need to get my head down. I'm knackered. It was such a horrible 3-hour drive back, but jeez Louise. But if you have enjoyed the video, guys, please smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarnie Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.